very fancy.
Do we have, we don't have laptops?
Probably on the end.
Oh, no, we have 7, all right.
We got 7, wow.
Where do we see the agenda? Did you get your right name, Ted?
I'll call to order the July 10th, 2024 Fishers Plan Commission meeting. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kelly, roll call, please.
Mr. Dreamer,
Here.
Mr. Fain,
Here.
Ms. Logan,
Here.
Mr. Peterson, Mr. Moulter,
Here.
Ms. Stoller,
Here.
Mr. Richards,
Here.
Ms. Jackson,
Here.
Ms. Frazier, and Mr. Stevenson.
Here. We do have a quorum to conduct this evening's matters. We will start with the approval of our previous minutes from May 1st, 2024. Any questions or comments?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you.
Excuse me real quick, who seconded that motion?
Who's
Was
second?
it Bruce?
Was it Bruce?
Give it to Bruce.
We'll give it to Bruce.
Okay, thank you.
And
Bruce or?
I think it was in unison.
In case there's any litigation.
There you go. For the record. The first item is case number TA-24-4, Fishers Marketplace Text Amendment. It's a consideration of a text amendment to the Fishers Marketplace PUD Ordinance 070506 as amended in Ordinance 081511A to update development standards and architectural standards associated with the gas station concept and proposed elevations, and to allow the following land uses: vehicle fuel sales, convenience store, and car wash at 13498 Bent Grass Lane. And we have Christy Cashin for the staff to present. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Christy Cashin, Senior Planner with the Planning Department for the City of Fishers. The project before you tonight is a text amendment to the Fishers Marketplace PUD, which includes a concept plan and architecture for a Family Express gas station and car wash. This text amendment applies to 13498 Bent Grass Lane only. The property is currently zoned PUD-M, Fishers Marketplace PUD, specifically ordinance number 070506 and amendment ordinance number 081511A. The properties surrounding this lot are zoned PUD-M to the north, south, and east, and PUD-C to the west, which is across State Road 37. This chart shows the history of the car wash and fuel station land uses since the 2006 ordinance. In 2006, these uses were allowed, and in 2011, an amendment removed these uses from the allowed list. The text amendment before you tonight is asking to add the use of a filling station, fuel station in conjunction with a convenience store and car wash, and to add the use of a car wash in conjunction with a convenience store and gas station car wash. This chart shows the changes proposed as part of the text amendment. As mentioned in the previous slide, the uses for a fuel station and a car wash were added. 2 development standards were added to require said uses to comply with development standards of the ordinance number 070506, and to allow the site to be developed consistent with the concept plan that was provided as part of tonight's packet. 2 architectural standards were removed, one of those being the entryway requirements for a retail building over 10,000 square feet. This was removed because this building is less than 10,000 square feet. And the second was to remove the roof requirements requiring a combination of either parapets, cornices, eaves, or pitched roofs. And lastly, 1 architectural standard was added to allow the project to be constructed in a manner consistent with the renderings in the text amendment. The petitioner is proposing to build a gas station with 7 pumps, which is 14 filling stations, a 5,800 square foot convenience store, and a 1,300 square foot automated car wash. The concept plan also shows a plaza or patio area on the west and east side of the convenience store, and there are sidewalk connections being made from Bentgrass Lane to the store, as well as connections along Bentgrass Lane. And staff worked with the petitioner on auto circulation around the site, within the site, I should say. Here are the renderings of the proposed convenience store and gas station fueling pumps. These are the elevations of the convenience store. And here are the elevations of the car wash and the dumpster enclosure. These elevations were presented to the PUD committee this evening, just prior to this meeting, and the PUD committee did continue the item to the August PUD committee meeting. The comprehensive plan calls for this area to be an employment node. This area includes the following uses: professional and business offices, maker spaces, medical offices, employment supporting commercial and ancillary uses. When making your decision this evening, Plan Commission shall take reasonable regard to the comprehensive plan, the current conditions and character of structure and uses in each zoning district, the most desirable use for which the land in each zoning district is adapted, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction, and responsible development and growth. Staff has no recommendation for the Plan Commission this evening, and this item is anticipated to go to City Council on July 15th for final reading.
Thanks, Christy.
You're welcome.
Any questions for the staff at this point?
So has council seen this already, since you said
They
it's
did
going
have a
to?
first reading of it
First
back
reading once,
in
okay.
June, May or June.
Okay. And can you share at all, any discussion they had then?
I was not at that meeting, but Ross could share.
I'm sorry, Ms. Logan, what was the question?
Any discussion at the city council meeting? No.
There really wasn't. There was some discussion afterwards with staff on abilities of what we can do to make this better, and I think some of that is reflected in what Christy talked about, including architecture. There was a request, I think, from City Council to have one of the uses removed, which was the car wash. There was also a dog wash that was included, which the petitioner has removed, but they are proceeding with the dual use of the convenience and fuel sales with a single car wash.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. Any other questions? Rick?
Another question. Will this go back to council before the PUD has a chance to look at this again?
It will. It goes on Monday to City Council, and then PUD committee would be on August 7th.
So what staff prefers to do is have the architecture approved and built into the text amendment. That's our preferred method. That does not stop them from seeking council approval with the concept plan and visuals that would be included in that text amendment. They just won't be approved by PUD committee. That is also commonplace for us to take something to PUD after if it's not approved. So we've done both, Mr. Fain.
Any other questions for staff?
Any other questions?
Just a few comments, and I've had several conversations with staff, numerous conversations with council. And, you know, when we look at this area along 37, we have a gas station at 126th. We have another gas station going in at 126th. We have a 131st gas station, 141st gas station, 146th gas station, plus we have the Costco at the gas station. I don't care where you run out of gas along 37, you don't have very far to go. This is not something that I think that we need in this area. I just don't think another gas station is needed in the area. What I do think is some of the gas stations that we have around the community, some of them along 37, some of them not. Some of them do have larger lots, which you could put a gas station, a car wash, and things like this on them. Some of them you have to buy the lot next to it. I just think I would rather see an existing gas station bought and upgraded as opposed to another gas station going in when there's already numerous gas stations and options along this corridor for this. Additionally, there are concerns with it being right in, right out. Most gas stations, typically they're not that way. I know that there are a few that have been made that way due to our roundabouts here in Hamilton County. But we try to keep the gas stations from being right in, right out in order to give people flexibility. So I don't think this lot is suitable for a gas station. I think that's part of the reason why it was changed in the past, and I think that we can find better uses for this lot rather than a gas station. But I would encourage Family Express to help us out with some of the other gas stations in our community, that we would love to have them upgraded to something like this.
Thanks for your comments, Selena. Any other further comments for the staff at this point? Thank you.
All right, I will let Joe come up and present on behalf of the Family Express.
And as Joe is coming, I do apologize in advance. I wanted to mention this at the outset of our meeting. We have a second agenda item with Fall Creek Marketplace PUD involving the Meyer grocery store. That has been continued to our next meeting, so if there's anyone in the audience who is anticipating that, I wanted to let you know that. Joe.
Thank you, President Stevenson, members of the Plan Commission. Joe Calderon, 11 South Meridian, Indianapolis. I represent Family Express. This evening with me tonight is Pete Andrew, who is the Vice President of Development. He's an architect by trade. I'll have him come up and kind of talk about the architectural elements. He does have building material samples. Let me just clean up a couple of comments from the Plan Commission that we heard. First, we did not know until a few moments ago that PUD committee was going to table or continue us to next month. They asked us to make some changes to the canopy, which we will gladly do, and that'll be in place. As you may or may not know, council has 90 days after a Plan Commission recommendation to consider. We do not have to get out of sequence on this. We can wait and go to council after PUD committee meets in August, if that's the preference of the Plan Commission. We'll just put that on the record. We don't want anybody to feel like we're trying to jam something through that's not appropriate or not been vetted by the appropriate committees, and in your case, the commission. So we just wanted to put that on the record. Finally, before I get into the PowerPoint, and I hopefully won't duplicate it as I go through, in addition to your review as the governmental body with respect to land use, this entire Fisher's Marketplace is governed by an owners association. So there's protections built in, as well as use and development approvals. So we come here tonight having obtained Owners Association approval to seek this text amendment. So they believe, at least at its core, that the project is worth pursuing from a building owners and tenants situation over there. And that ought to say a little something. So we've already gone through that because in the declaration we had to seek their approval to come and even file with the city before. So we've gone through that step. Secondly, before I forget this, the PUD amendment only applies to this lot, 1.93 acres. We're not opening up the whole thing and allowing this type of use to go anywhere within the 120-some acres. So we want to be respectful of that. We're not trying to create some sort of out-of-control use change. And as Councilor Stoller noted, at its origin, this use was in fact permitted within the PUD. It got removed in 2011, and now for a variety of reasons, we're seeking consideration to have it come back again. So those are just a couple of the house cleaning items I wanted to bring to your attention before I kind of rolled in. Family Express is not well established in Indianapolis yet. They are putting stores in as we speak. They are Indiana-based out of Valparaiso. All of their stores are in Indiana. They're family-owned and operated. They're private. They've received numerous awards for their selections, for their operations, both from their own trade and from others, as having reviewed these types of operations. So it's much more than a, quote, gas station. In fact, it's not even a traditional gas station. There's no auto repair, no services, no oil change, nothing like that. It's a convenience store with gas as kind of a accessory piece to that. So we want you to kind of not think of it as a, quote, gas station in its somewhat of its sense. And we tried to make the PUD text amendment reflect that only. And we also only allowed a car wash in conjunction with the C-store gas station. So nobody can come in and put a standalone car wash. It can only be with this type of use consistent with what we have proposed. So we understand that there were concerns about the car wash. This is a large site. It's 1.93 acres. The car wash will not overwhelm the site. In fact, it really won't even be seen from 37 because it's tucked to the east. So we do feel like it fits. We were happy to remove the pet wash. We thought it was kind of novel, but the council expressed concerns about that. So off we go. As you know, this site has never been developed. It's right next door to Zaxby's to the south, and then Taco Bell. Just to the north, there's new B-Shop retail with Wingstop. I think there's an investment company, a donut shop there now. And then, of course, Lennar's building further north on 135. So this is one of the last pieces that's remained undeveloped. No question, we understand, and we're going in with our eyes wide open as to the access points. You can theoretically get in from 131st and go if you're southbound traffic. We know that this is capturing northbound from a convenience standpoint. We don't think that there's an overabundance of north stations along 37 northbound. When you really think about the Shell at 96, that's been there forever. The Shell at 126, that's been there forever. Everything else is on the southbound side, as best as I can tell. So we don't think there's overabundance of this type of use in terms of 37 presence. In fact, with the population growth, we think that this is an appropriate use, and we get the dynamic that it does not have the traditional full access, left in, left out, right in, right out, as some stations historically have been. So we do understand that. So look at the site, you're familiar with it. It does have good access and proximity to get back out onto 37 traffic. There's plenty of room coming off of 37 along 135th before you get to Bentgrass Lane, so there really aren't any issues. We're not asking for a curb cut on 135th. They're both on Bentgrass Lane. The C-store will be about 5,800 square feet, which is larger than a number of C-stores that you might find. This is in order to provide the selection that Family Express offers. There are 3,500 items, hot food, indoor, outdoor seating areas. We like the fact that the site is large enough to provide some outdoor seating options. As Christy mentioned, there are 7 gas pumps, dual-sided, with 14 positions. We've added the perimeter and base landscaping and site lighting to meet PUD standards. When we originally presented this to council in early June, there was a pet wash. The architecture was more of the traditional trade dress for Family Express. We've eliminated the pet wash, updated the site plan, and revised the architecture by changing the color scheme to kind of match what's within Fisher's Marketplace. As you can kind of see in your mind's eye, both Zaxby's, Taco Bell, and even the B shops to the north, they're all more neutral colors. And we've totally revamped the store to reflect that. We've also agreed to do our site lighting to match the standards. There, at one time, were some site lighting sketches. I don't know that everybody's followed, but we will work with Christie to meet all of the site lighting that's consistent. We have to do that to satisfy the Owners Association anyway. This was the original site plan. You can kind of see the pet wash that was between the car wash and the building. That's since been eliminated. You can see some of the additional landscaping that's been added, the pet wash eliminated. We've got the dumpster kind of sandwiched between the car wash and the building, so it's not sticking out in any sort of front yard type of view. It's hidden as much as possible, and you can see the car wash pushed to the east to where it's really not going to be a feature from 37. You can also probably see on this site plan the canopy is sized appropriately here. If you look at the renderings, and we admit it, and I apologize for not talking into this before, the canopy looks huge in some of the renderings. That's not the appropriate angle. The actual size is much smaller in proportion to the building. We understand that there are users, older type of C-stores that have much smaller buildings and much larger gas canopies. So the store is about 3 times as deep as the canopy is. So don't pay attention to that. That's just kind of an exaggerated angled view. The original elevations were kind of a gray, light gray, and the Family Express teal trade dress. You can kind of see that in the images that I'm sharing with you. And it thematically went between the C-store and the car wash. In the updated images, which you can see either here or on screen, you can see the color scheme has been softened. We've kept, for the signage, the Family Express trade dress color, but it's much more nuanced, and you can kind of see the black framing along with the architectural features coming off of the building at storefront and on the sides with the canopies. Cornice treatments at the rooftop level. We actually did meet two of the three standards of the roof guidelines in the PUD. The reason we yanked it out is that there was some notion that you'd have to have some flat along with either hipped or gabled roof. We don't think anybody in Fisher's Marketplace has necessarily followed those. They've all pretty much have flat roof with cornice, so we're very consistent in our treatment compared to the users that are adjacent and throughout the development. Again, some of the images facing the front, you can see the foundation plantings, etc. You can see kind of the tables outside of the building area that kind of soften up the sides that don't have full access to the building, if you will. That same design and color theme, and I'll have Pete come up and describe the materials and share them with you, follow through to the car wash. So it's all complementary and even to the trash dumpster. So if this project gets approved, it will generate a significant amount of property tax. The investment will be north of $5 million. We know that that is one criteria. It's not, this lot is not generating anything other than land value right now. Construction could start as soon as this fall. Takes 90 to 120 days to operate. Could be first or second quarter next year opening. Again, just to remind you, we are not allowing this use to apply to any other lot other than the 1.93 acres. It's referenced and cross-referenced with legal description. This has been done before with the apartments that are on the east side, just off of 131st. So this amendment has some precedent in terms of how uses have been added. And again, you can only do this use in conjunction with C-store, gas station, car wash. You can't do a standalone car wash. We, again, have talked a little bit about, and Christy has talked about the standards that we are asking to not apply. One of them only applies to 10,000-foot buildings anyway. The roof standards I explained moments ago. We do believe, in conjunction working with your staff, that we're now much more consistent with the users along Bentgrass Lane, namely Zaxby's, Taco Bell, and then the strip across 135th. Even before I got engaged, Family Express had spent significant time with your staff to kind of work through issues. Again, we've worked through and have the Owners Association approval to come before you tonight and seek this change. So we're pleased with the amount of engagement that we've had. This has been thought out. We certainly respect council's comments and are happy to continue to engage with you as a Plan Commission or council. With that, I think I'll have Pete come up and just talk a little bit about the architecture, if you'll give us a couple more moments, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Peter Andreu, I'm the VP for Development for Family Express. Thank you for allowing us to do this presentation tonight. So we like to think, Family Express likes to think of ourselves not as a gas station. We consider ourselves a convenience store. We're much more than selling gas. As Joe alluded to, we have over 3,500 items in our repertoire. We have a central bakery that we deliver the fresh donuts and cookies to all of our stores daily. We have fresh milk. We have an on-site kitchen that's prepared the hot food. We have everything from breakfast sandwiches to lunch to ribs, our pizza, low-carb pizza, everything's done on site. We have indoor dining. Again, the guest is just one small component. You know, we elevate ourselves as you've seen some of the accolades. We received the Convenience Chain Store of the Year in North America. And again, the freshness of our food by being able to be vertically integrated, having our own bakery, being able to deliver daily allows to capture efficiencies and freshness that other gas stations simply do not have that capability. With that said, we did look at the site. We acknowledge the accessibility, but we still believe that that's a site that we would like to join Fishers and cater to the community. As far as the building, I'm not sure anything else regarding the convenience store site. I'd be happy to answer any questions. As far as the architectural elements of we had a different color scheme. We acknowledge that this blends more contextually with the existing architecture. To give character, we chose two different color bricks and then three different color, they're called niche-out panel, it's a cementitious panel. And then the two different color bricks, we have a darker brick around the perimeter at the corners, the lighter brick on the inset of the entry along with the complementary color of the panel system. And then we have another accent panel that wraps the building at the same elevation as the awnings. And then the third GL panel is just around the entry element. Originally, we had the Family Express teal, as that's our brand, but we understand that the request was to eliminate that, and we chose a material that's more complementary to the building. We heard from the PUD meeting earlier, we're going to redo the canopy to be more consistent with the architecture of the building. We're going to look at different colors and look at the different shape columns as well. And as Joe alluded earlier, it's very deceiving in this angle. As you can see, the width of this canopy is, this is 24 feet and then this is 64 feet. So it's just shy of 1/3 of the width of the building. It's just very deceiving. So we'll do different renderings to help visualize and then get more comfort level to the set. Again, we're adding perimeter landscaping, foundation plantings around the building. We're going to comply with the PUD requirements about landscaping around the perimeter of the sites, along with the accessibility for the sidewalks. That's all I have as far as the architecture. I'm happy to answer any questions you all may have.
Yeah, thank you. Again, we're happy to answer any questions. We do think we have given you enough to make a favorable recommendation, considering the factors, the statutory factors that are in play. The comprehensive plan is an employment node. We recognize that. We think that this type of use provides needed services to those working in the area. We know that, at least by reaction from the Owners Association, that this use would be consistent and complementary to the existing uses that are within the district. Again, there's no property tax revenue being generated or just the land value only. It's sat ready for development for almost 20 years now, and we think the time is right to allow this to be developed. And again, we are happy to engage, answer questions, consider whatever the Plan Commission might require us or ask us to do to make this more comfortable, more compatible from your perspective. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe and Pete. Board members, any questions for the petitioner at this point? If not, Kim, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. If not, I will open the public hearing at this point. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to address this matter, please approach the podium and share with us your name and your address and what you would like to share with us. Yes.
He's coming. Hi, I'm Sue Anthony Fulmer. 13857 Canopy Lane. This is Jack Fulmer. Yes. We represent ownership and the residents of the Woods of Britain, which has 57 acres of land to the northeast of this development. A few of you that are on City Council as well may recall that during their initial presentation in June from Family Express, I voiced that not to disregard the residents of the Woods of Britain that are going to be right there as well. And we do have a couple things that we want to put before each of the commissions and PUD and City Council and all these things, and that we're not opposed to the project, but we are, there are a few elements that we want to make sure are considered.
One being the lighting of the gas station. A lot of times they're like.
Can you talk, I'm sorry, into the
Sorry.
mic?
Is, excuse me. Can you hear me?
Make sure it's on.
How about now?
Yes.
All right. The first thing we want to talk about was the lighting. Concerned about the lighting being so close to the resident. Our buildings there is that it's considered a down lighting, not. The other thing was a lot of times gas station pumps have little TVs on and speakers, and those carry. Those sometimes are programmed loud, like when I'm there, I'm kind of put my hand over the speaker, you know, to silence it a little bit. So that was a concern too. We had kind of had issues with the drive-through that went in just across the street on 135th Street, but they put in ample landscaping and a wall to block that sound coming from their drive-through board. That's worked well. So that was another concern that we had with the gas station being so close to our property. Is there anything else you had?
Those were our two concerns that we wanted to make sure were expressed to city and planning, and that is it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the audience? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at this point. Any other additional comments or questions from?
I had one
Yeah,
question.
yep.
Is it 24/7?
No, it's not.
Okay, what are the hours of operation?
Right now, we're looking at 5 in the morning to 11 at night, and then we'll cater to the community. If we need to adjust it accordingly, we will.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
We can put the hours into a commitment form if the Plan Commission would so require that.
Joe, can you address the questions from the demonstrators regarding
Yes,
lighting
yeah,
and the
yes.
speaker volume?
Yes, so in talking with Pete, he might be better to answer those questions, but to my understanding, there are monitors on the pumps, but no sound emitted from them. Our lighting, the canopy lighting is all downlit, fully shielded, just so it's not going to spill out. I don't think we have a photometrics plan at this point, do we?
We're working on it right now.
We're happy to share that with staff and Woods of Britain people to guarantee that we're not going to create anything more than what they're used to seeing. There's a fair amount of distance, but they're right, there's open area between where they are to the north and east and where we are. But we're happy to share our photometrics plan with them and with staff to make sure that we don't have any undue light spill.
And it's something we can work together because we do have to comply with the PUD, so
It's okay.
so we'll work together. We have to meet certain standards, and if those standards have to change, we'll have to come together and see what lights we're going to use. We'll do whatever we can to accommodate.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'll just make one more, Chair. To the point about the photometric, they do have requirements to have a certain amount of foot candles at the property line. That's consistent across the city. Sometimes the PUD has additional restrictions, But when it goes through the TAC process, if it's approved by council, we'll be looking through the photometric plan pretty diligently, so.
Thanks, Ross. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, if there's no other comments, I would entertain a motion.
A motion to send a no recommendation, an unfavorable recommendation to council.
We have a motion from Selena. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Brad. Roll call, please.
Unfavorable recommendation.
Thank you for clarification.
That's why we have a great attorney on it.
I want to vote yes for no. Yeah.
It's whatever it takes, let's go.
Okay, Mr. Dreamer,
Yes.
Mr. Fain,
Yes.
Ms. Logan,
Yes.
Mr. Moulter,
Yes.
Ms. Stoller,
Yes.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Ms. Jackson,
yes,
and Mr. Stevenson.
Yes. So the motion does carry. Thank you. Staff communications, Ross?
The only staff communication is welcome to the new City Hall and the theater. We're happy to have you here. I do anticipate a larger crowd at next month's Plan Commission with the Meyer project that's coming forward. So please let us know if you're not available for that. We can try to make additional accommodations with teams. But that is the only thing. If anyone would like a tour of the building at any time, please let Kelly or I know. We're happy to have you. But that is it.
Are you supplying armored vest for us next month?
No armored vest. I have some escape routes.
Well, Ross, we're excited to be in our new digs here. I presume we will have chairs for the next meeting to accommodate the audience. Any summary of council action?
No summary of council action.
Okay. Well, with that, we are adjourned.